What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Kentucky Derby Prep episode of the Inside Post. This weekend, February 1st, we go down to sunny Gulfstream Park, back to the Holy Bull Stakes, a Grade 3 stakes race in here for Kentucky Derby Prep points. However, we have a very short field, or a small field, of only 7 runners. Hopefully, we stick with these 7 to kind of give us something to look forward to on Saturday down in Florida. We're going to mile and a 16th for these 3-year-olds. Like I said, Kentucky Derby points are on the line for these 7 contenders. So we're going to start off on the rail, looking at Kinetic Control. This is trained by Dale Romans with Junior Alvarado aboard. Very interesting horse coming into this Graded Stakes company for the first time for Romans. Comes out of a pretty decent maiden special at the 118 level at Churchill. However, back in November, so comes off a pretty chunky layoff. The horse's bet pretty good that day, about 3-1, and the other 2 times was very, very bet to probably post-time favorite, I believe is what it looks like in here. Workouts look pretty decent so far, especially the one back in January 25th. So it looks like the horse is trending in the right direction for the workouts, or even on the form side of things for this not this time colt. If you look back, I think it was October 9th, just tossed that last race out. Just did not really want to go that day. It's kind of what it seemed like as the heavy favorite in there. Looks like they were maybe trying to figure things out. The race before, $122,000 level maiden at Churchill down, tried to come from the back and close, was able to get up for second, but could not catch the leader in that one. And then the past win, when it did break its maiden, did it from the lead, wired the field in there. Looks to be one that maybe needs the lead or needs that early type speed. The 71 speed figure looks pretty good, coming back from a just abysmal 55 in that Keeneland race. So we should see this one kind of fire away yet again. And I think if this is going to be any type of pace horse, the one spot is probably where they were hoping to get for Kinetic Control. I think we see a big run back in here yet again. Some of these other horses, again, are coming off of their maidens. So just going to have to beat some of the other stakes runners from his outside. And I think at a pretty good price, 15-1, this one could be one of your underneath horses to use. Next, we have Ferocious. This is the 9-5 morning line favorite in here, coming out of that Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Just getting spanked by the likes of 4 other contenders in there. Citizens Bowl, Gaming, and Hill Road. Ferocious finishing 5th. Just did not have much in there for this type of race. Looked to be way back in the pack, early 6th and 7th, and then kind of fell back to 9th, and then was able to make just a little bit of a short rally later on. So I think this inside rail or inside draw should help Ferocious get out early. That's kind of what they're hoping to do in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, and it did not happen. So they're going to try to fire back in here in the Holy Bull and try to get out early. There's really no big speed to the inside unless Kinetic Control just has a fabulous gate break. But I can see Ferocious kind of being able to get out. We'll get blinkers on for the first time in here for Ferocious. So like I said, definitely going to have to run a little bit better than he did coming out of that juvenile. However, if you go back to his breeder's futurity or even the hopeful, he definitely looked like a pretty good horse. Beat out by Chancellor McPatrick and East Avenue. The workouts are okay. 5 furlongs and 101, and then 4 and 48. So it looks to be in the right set of mind for this type of race. However, he's had a rough go of it. I'm definitely going to need the early speed factor to kind of play a role and see what he can do. If the blinkers help out, this horse could be, pretty scary in here, or even come back yet again and fire at another big Kentucky Derby prep. So we're going to pull this up, this Breeders' Cup or Breeders' Juvenile, and kind of take a peek at Ferocious in here
for the first half mile.
and see what we kind of
guides the field onto the far
pick
turn,
out.
leads it by
So as you can see, he's kind of third in this
second a half
group.
length. Ferocious now being ridden along from third toward the inside and still not
has the
closing
rail
gap on
like
the
what
leader.
he
There's a quarter mile
prefers
to
and
go. They're
should
coming
get the
to the
rail
top
in
of the
this
short
race.
stretch. And East
But he's
Avenue
gotta beat
leads
East
it
Avenue
by 5 lengths as they turn for
in this
home.
race as well.
Ferocious second a length and Dapper Moon is third off the final turn. It is East Avenue working into the final furlong of the Claiborne Breeders' Futurity. Maintains a 5-length lead back to Ferocious in second. Dapper Moon is third. East Avenue will prove much the best. In the Claiborne Breeders' Futurity, Tyler Gaffalio checks over his shoulder. A widening
Definitely
margin at the wire.
East Avenue is probably the best
Avenue.
race that we've seen. And obviously Ferocious just ran into the best East Avenue on that day. So we'll see if the class, little bit of class relief will help. Ferocious in here. He's obviously not going to be running in the likes of the grade 1s with Citizens Bull Gaming, East Avenue, or even Chancer McPatrick. So outside of that, this horse, rightfully so, 9-5. But you got to try to beat these heavy favorites, or somewhat of a heavy favorite in here. But this one looks to be one of the betters. Next, we have number 3, Tappan Street for Brad Cox and Luis Saez. Interesting, this one breaking its maiden at the 40 level. Some of these other horses coming in, breaking their maidens at the $100,000 level. So this one's kind of in short change on as far as the maiden side. But the horse does have some early speed that could play a big factor in here. The sire of Into Mischief definitely is worthy enough of setting itself up for the Derby. And then you have the owners of Windstar Farm and that man, Brad Cox Training. I like Luis Saez aboard here for the fact that, there's going to be a lot of speed. And that seems to be what they're trying to do is get out and go. I mean, on the inside, you have Ferocious and Kinetic, who all want that lead, or who all need to be sitting closer to that lead. Tappan Street definitely could throw a big wrench in here and get out super early, because I think he's got a little bit more of a gate jockey in Luis Saez, who always rides horses out well. So we'll see what happens in there. Workouts, again, kind of on par. The best one looks like to be January 19th, fastest on the day, going 5 furlongs in a minute. I think it was like a minute and 1 or a minute and a little bit of change in there. So it looked really good in that workout. So we kind of fired back, took one easy. So we'll see if we get any more workouts leading up to it. I don't think we will. But this one looks to be trending in the right direction at 3-1 on a Brad Cox, especially on a speed player. Looks pretty good in this type of setting. Next up, we have Guns Loaded for Jose D'Angelo, and Irad Ortiz is going to get the mount. So either Luis Saez gets off of this one to ride Tappan Street, which is very interesting, or Irad Ortiz kind of comes into the picture and is available and takes Guns Loaded. This one's out of Gun Runner for More Play Racing. This one looks really good as well, coming out of that Mucho Macho Man $150,000 stakes race, but like I said, had Luis Saez aboard, and also breaking its maiden at the $122,000 level as well. So we have the Mucho Macho Man also pulled up, so we're going to check that out. And this is in the
Guns
deep
Loaded
stretch.
through 3/4 in 1:12 He's off the turn on top with a 3-length strong lead. Second is Treaty of Rome as the leader cut the corner beautifully. They're 1/8 of a mile from home. Guns Loaded, he's still on the lead, and he leads by 2.5. Second is Treaty of Rome. He's trying to gain late ground. Final 16th of a mile. Here comes Treaty of Rome. Guns Loaded needs the wire. Treaty of Rome lifting. Guns Loaded hung on. Guns Loaded won the Mucho Macho Man.
As you can tell, the horse had the early lead and tried to get away from the field, and it was able to. However, it was really close coming to the wire of Treaty of Rome, kind of battling it out down in the stretch. So Guns Loaded comes into this race off of a big stakes race, the Mucho Macho Man. We see some horses come out of that and immediately point to a Derby prep. However, 2 turns is going to be the first time for Guns Loaded, so that's going to be the big question mark in here. Obviously, the breeding suggests that he wants to go further. He's going to be able to handle the 2 turns. Big purchase of $800,000 as well. So obviously, there's something there. And for the horse to be 3-2 so far in his young career, rightfully so, stepping in here at 5-2 at a pretty good price as well. All right, number 5, we have He's Not Joking. Jose Carroll, John Velasquez getting here. Out of Practical Joke. This one, I believe, is looking for its first win on the dirt. Has been running on synthetic up at Woodbine. Comes to Churchill in the Kentucky Jockey Club. Runs an 80 or 71 speed figure. Finishes 8th in there. And and first time on the dirt, obviously was going to struggle. But definitely struggled probably more than what they were expecting as far as the connections. So again, second time on the dirt. Probably going to take a little money just because it's got John Velasquez, but this one's probably going to be a bigger price than what his morning line odds show. Number 6, we got Burning Glory. This is Judemont owned, another Into Mischief horse out of Harlan's Holiday. We have Will Mott, the trainer for Tyler Gaffleone. Very interesting. Another one breaking its maiden at that above $100,000 level. 75 speed figure, so just a little bit off of what we've seen some of these other inside speed runners be able to run. This one has a little bit of tactical edge, has a little bit of late speed if they do go super fast that I think Burning Glory should be able to utilize and set up for maybe a little bit of a closer style of a runner. That workout on January 25th looked pretty good, 4 furlongs and 49. So, like I said, another one that's kind of comfortable in that $100,000 maiden, has some speed in that closing style that could be kind of dangerous in this type of race where we have a lot of speed early. And again, Tyler Gaffleone, Wilmot, connections usually kind of pile up wins in these types of races. And 7, this is all the way to the outside. We have Burnham Square for Ian Wilkes and Edgar Zayas. This is out of Liam's Map. Winner last time again at the $40,000 level, had to come all the way down to 40,000 after trying at 122 and just did not have anything. However, finished third behind Monet's Magic, who's a pretty good horse, and then drops way down to the 40K level and easily wins there. So is the big class drop, is it going to be too much for the horse coming back into graded stakes? And is the early speed going to be the problem for Burnham Square? The workouts, again, are pretty decent. 4 furlongs and 49, kind of the same as what the others are going to be running. I think they added blinkers in his last race, so I think he should stick with blinkers in here, or maybe they're taking him off. So we'll see if that plays a role. 5-1, I just don't know if there's a whole lot of value in this horse. I'm assuming they're playing him at 5-1 just because of his 86 speed figure. But again, that was against 40K level maidens in there. So if you stuck around this far, obviously you want to know our top pick and who we're going with. The likes of Tappan Street is very interesting. However, the 40K is kind of shying away from, and if the horse is able to step into graded stakes company for a win. Ferocious looks really good as a top pick. However, 9-5, we kind of want to steer clear of that as well. So we're going to take a stab at Guns Loaded, coming out of the Mucho Macho Man. Hopefully he wants 2 turns. I don't know. He looked like he was gassed in that Mucho Macho Man as he almost gave up the lead. So a tough going for these top 3 horses that are kind of on the board right now, or on the morning line. Obviously, Ferocious going to be the top pick. Coming out of the Breeders' Cup, coming off of a pretty good layoff. The horse was getting a lot of buzz coming out of the Hopeful, going into the Breeders' Futurity, and even in the Juvenile, but just ran into the better horses that day of Citizens Bull. Now he comes in to a grade 3 with a little bit of class relief. I think he's going to be able to pick up where he started from his maiden and the Hopeful, and he gets his connection back of Javier Castellano, and I think this horse kind of puts in a really good Derby prep for himself to kind of get him into the next bigger leg of his Derby prep. Next, Burning Glory is interesting. Again, the speeds look a little bit off, but you have Wilmot with Tyler Gaffleone as our second pick. A little bit of value pick in here outside of Tappan Street and Guns Loaded. Going to just try this one to see if we can swing a win. Another one that's going back to this mile and a 16th, so we'll see if it's able to pick up going 2 turns yet again. But I kind of like the speed, and I kind of like the connection. Tyler Gaffleone giving this one yet another shot, and we'll see if we can take another big step forward. I think I'm playing Burning Glory in here just because there's going to be so much speed up front, and I just don't know which speed horse I like better. I think if we are super hot and we're flying early with 4 early horses that want the lead, I think Burning Glory has a great chance to close into a pretty good pace from what we're going to get early on in this race. And then you got to follow it up again. Like I said, Guns Loaded, even Tappan Street as your 3 horses in here. Tappan Street, it's just uncomfortable. We haven't seen what this horse has been able to do at a bigger class. It just got its maiden at the 40K level, but you have to respect Windstar Farm. You have to respect Brad Cox in these types of races. And it's interesting that Luis Saez chose this one over Guns Loaded, who has stakes experience. Obviously, this one's going to get a little bit of the nod for us in here just because there's a reason, like I said, Luis Saez chose this one over Guns Loaded. And then our long shot play, going back to the inside in Kinetic Control. Crazy to throw a monkey in the wrench, and this is going to be it with Junior Alvarado. Dale Romans picks up a win at the $100,000 level, breaking its maiden in that conditioner. And then you see this other seconds early on in its career. You toss out the Keeneland race back on October 9th. This horse is not 15-1. The distance should not be an issue out of this horse. Looks to be one that could just be really, really sneaky on the rail. If Junior can get this horse up the rail early and not give up that rail position, I think this could be really set up for Kinetic Control to steal the win or even be in a really good exacta or trifecta to kind of give us a little bit of extra pay in there for a $1 wager on the trifecta box. So that's how we're rolling it. We're going to roll the 2, 3, 6, and 1. And hopefully we can beat out the D'Angelo and the Irad Ortiz horse, who looks really good. But we'll see if Luis Saez picking Tappan Street was for the right reason, or if something else kind of shook out and Irad kind of got to pick which one he wanted. So there's our picks for the Holy Bull. Thanks for watching. Make sure to go down, like, hit subscribe, leave your best bet for the Holy Bull or any other races for the day. And we'll keep dishing out these Kentucky Derby preps, leading all the way up to the Kentucky Derby. Thanks for watching, guys.